All right, guys, so some pretty funny stuff happened last night on Twitter with the former Houston Astros DH, Evan Gattis, going on kind of a drunk Twitter rant talking about the Astros cheating, possibly other teams cheating, talking about how he was on PEDs and other things. You can see the person asks, was the pitch you hit for a homer in Game 7 of the ALCS a trash can bang? Yes, I'm pretty sure. Backdoor, cutter, slider. And then he just goes on a rant there. But you can see he also says the Dodgers used multiple signs with nobody on base, I think. So other teams possibly using it. And I'm going to kind of get into my hypothesis on what I think actually happened with the MLB really not punishing the Astros, which is shocking considering it's such a ridiculous, embarrassing scandal. The idea that a major league team would get caught cheating by banging on trash cans and you don't suspend any of the players. How does that happen? Well, guys, in my opinion, cheating, stealing signs, doing things that were illegal was totally rampant in the MLB from 2017 probably through 2019. The Red Sox have been accused of doing it in the World Series against the Dodgers. I think the MLB and the Houston Astros both knew that a lot of these teams that were in the playoffs were blatantly cheating, and the Astros said, listen, if you're really going to come down on us and suspend players for years and do whatever they were going to do, the Astros were going to expose other teams for cheating, and then it would be an even bigger scandal. So I'm guessing that's why the MLB was so soft on the Astros when it comes to their punishment, because you had multiple teams doing different things. The Astros were just the ones dumb enough to actually bang trash cans, which allowed the general public to literally hear and have the evidence of them cheating. You know, one bang for a fastball, two bangs for off speed or whatever. I mean, it's just ridiculous that it happened and it's embarrassing for baseball, but the Astros knew that other teams were doing it. Evan Gattis says the Dodgers probably were doing it. I mean, obviously you can also say it's kind of just like cope, like, oh, I'm cheating, he's cheating. But seriously, if the MLB knew or there was only evidence of the Houston Astros cheating, there would have been a much more, in my opinion, severe punishment for the players. We're talking about taking away multiple first-round picks, suspending players for seasons. None of that happened because, let's be honest, it was probably rampant through multiple teams. They were all using different systems, and the Astros said, look, this can go away, whatever, we got our ring. Or if you really want to come down on us, we're just going to expose everyone and completely delegitimize the entire last three playoffs. I'm guessing all of this happened 2017, 2018, and maybe 2019, and then you had it all come out, and that's when the Astros kind of got really lucky with the pandemic because they were going to get booed horribly in 2020. The pandemic kind of saves them from all of that. The season gets suspended. They started up in July, have a 60-game season with no fans, and the rest is kind of history. So Evan Gattis, it looked like, I mean, with what he was saying, probably pretty drunk. He probably regrets it, but that's just something I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to give kind of my theory on why I think the Astros really didn't get punished. Also, this is just a question I have. Whatever happened with the Jose Altuve buzzer thing? Like the idea that Jose Altuve didn't want to get his tattoo wet or like show his tattoo. That's why when he was coming to home plate, he said, "Don't rip off my shirt." That's completely ridiculous. Does anyone, I know they asked Evan Gattis about it and he said maybe, maybe not, he doesn't know, but that just seems ridiculous to me. I can't believe MLB fans would buy something like that when there's literally a photo of Jose Altuve like 3 months before in an Instagram picture shirtless, but then he says, no, I don't want my new tattoo. I don't know, maybe something else happened because I know people are saying it's false, they never use buzzers, but that whole situation is really suspect to me. Either way, guys, we also have the Bally Sports bankruptcy situation. This coming 20 hours ago, MLB files emergency motion to force Diamond to either pay the Twins and Guardians or give up the TV rights. So Bally Sports, didn't pay both the Guardians and the Twins, probably because they were the lowest earners. I mean, Bally has a lot of, TV rights, and those are the two clubs. Also, the Diamondbacks before they didn't pay. But the situation right now, you can see Diamond's Bally Sports Networks. They filed for Chapter 11 on March 15th. 14 MLB teams and 3 have not been paid, including the Diamondbacks, also the Twins, and the Guardians. On Thursday, Arizona filed its own motion with the bankruptcy court to compel Diamond to pay what it owes or end their contract. MLB is seeking an order by April 13th that would force Diamond to either pay the Twins and Guardians or terminate the contract so the teams could take over the broadcasts. Bally Sports North, Bally Sports Great Lakes, and Bally Sports Arizona have continued to televise Twins, Guardians, and Diamondback respectively, despite not paying them. So this is a situation where push comes to shove, the MLB is going to take over the TV rights for these 3 teams, more than likely in the coming days, unless there's some legal kind of extension that Bally Sports can do. It seems to me that Bally Sports, after filing for bankruptcy, they just said, you know what? We have 14 different teams. The ones that bring in the lowest revenue, which I guess are the Twins, Guardians, and the Diamondbacks, are the ones that we're not going to pay first. And they're trying to do all this stuff to delay it. Right now, they're not paying for any of these 3 teams' rights, but because of the legal situation and kind of the way it's working, they're still able to air those games. So it's kind of weird, but this is something that should get resolved in the coming days, because the MLB said by April 13th, you got to pay the fee to actually have the rights to televise these teams, or we will be taking over the broadcasts. And I'm guessing the MLB network would kind of have their own graphics package that we've seen this year. There's actually an updated version of it that I saw last night. So this is probably, if you are a Guardians, Twins, or a Diamondbacks fan, if Bally Sports doesn't pay and that April 13th, kind of deadline gets granted, expect to switch over to this graphics package right here, which I think is a major win. I'm guessing it'll be on TV, it'll be local, they'll keep the same broadcast booth. I mean, it'd be kind of hard to bring in all new people to different teams, especially if Bally is going to end up losing everyone inevitably. I mean, they filed for bankruptcy, so when it comes to this situation, it looks like there is a deadline unless an extension gets granted to Bally Sports. They will lose the rights to the Guardians, Twins, and the Diamondbacks, and probably throughout the year lose rights to other teams as they continue to miss payments. Again, my speculation is the reason they chose those 3 teams is because they probably generated the least in terms of overall revenue. Diamond's missed payment to the Diamondbacks occurred just prior to the commencement of bankruptcy, so the team instead is listed as a creditor on Chapter 11's petition. Now, it is kind of a shame because I will say, the thing with Bally Sports that's so shocking to me, they actually did upgrade some of their graphics this year. Like when a player hits a home run, it looks better, it's kind of cool, but everyone has been saying your scoreboard is so ugly, you need to change it. And they just still won't change it. They still won't do it. We don't need it up. We do not need it taking up the entire bottom screen. I think if you're a Guardians, Twins, or a D-backs fan, and you go to MLB Network, as long as they still have the games locally televised, which that's the expectation. And now apparently we know the whole ordeal with how bad Bally Sports is when it comes to streaming. It could be a lot easier, with the MLB having the rights to these teams to actually stream the games. I understand streaming is a major thing. If you live in an apartment, you're not getting cable, or it's very unlikely you have cable, so you're probably streaming, and it might be easier to find games that way. So overall, I do think this is a good thing. Also, I saw a story about Bally Sports embracing analytics and like showing analytics now on their scoreboards as well. I just think it's too little too late. I might say this, and people might get angry at this. I think the StatCast stuff is so overrated. Like, I'm sorry. Like, when someone tells me a ball was hit 105 miles per hour, it's like, I don't know, man. It doesn't do it for me. It's just like, what am I comparing this to? Like, I understand when a ball gets hit really hard, it's probably going to be a base hit. Like, I don't know, guys. I know people love the StatCast stuff, the catch probability, but even that is kind of wonky. Like, you have to factor in where the player's positioned defensively before the pitch, and, I don't know. But I know people love the StatCast stuff. But either way, guys, that is the situation on Bally Sports. And then we did have Evan Gattis go on a nice little rant about the Houston Astros, possibly the Dodgers. I know the Red Sox are another team. I know people have been talking about the Yankees as well, having their own system. Why did the Astros not get punished? Well, it's probably because the Astros knew that other teams were cheating. They just cheated a different way to where it was harder to get caught. The Astros were the only ones that used frickin' trash cans, and the general public could pick up on it and see them virtually get caught red-handed. I mean, if you can hear the audible bangs, which you could, there's no way the MLB could silence that. I mean, the MLB, this is a horrible look. You've got a team cheating by banging on trash cans. It is just ridiculous. You would figure there'd be a heavy incentive to severely punish that team. There's virtually no punishment. They give like a year-long suspension to Alex Cora, which is basically, 60 games with the pandemic season? A complete slap on the wrist, basically less than a slap on the wrist. I think the MLB said, look, we understand that other teams were doing it. We want this to go away. We don't want it to turn into a huge scandal, even bigger than it already is, if the Astros try and expose other teams. Let's make a deal with the Astros and say, look, it's going to go away. We're going to give you a slap on the wrist, but we need this situation to stop right now. You're not going to expose anyone else for cheating, because then it turns into something that completely delegitimizes possibly the 2017, 2018, and the 2019 playoffs. Yeah, they're not going to like that. So that is my speculation. I would be very shocked if this was just like the MLB was just soft on the Astros for whatever reason. There has to be a legit reason. Banging on trash cans and cheating and having the general public catch you is literally worst case scenario if you are the MLB and it happens to one of your teams. So that's just my theory on what happened with the Astros and all the teams possibly using different systems back in 2017, 2018 during the playoffs and possibly the regular season as well. The MLB wants this to be just completely left in the rearview mirror. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.